Insta360 company has released one of the most versatile and advanced action or lifestyle cameras, Insta360 Go Ultra, and today I'll be comparing it with the Go 2, which was released a couple of generations ago. Let's go. What's good, guys? My name is Oleg Nikitin and you're watching No Limits On channel. About 4 years ago I did a review of the Insta360 Go 2, and this one is the Ultra model, and it's so much better, guys. Let's dive into it. I will start off with the image quality of the Go Ultra. As you can see, guys, we took this camera to our trip to Rome, and from the footage you can tell that it looks pretty good, especially in good lighting conditions. Also, this camera is capable of recording 4K up to 60 frames per second, whereas the previous generation, the Go 2, was able to record at only 1440p. And if we compare the two side by side, the image quality difference is simply night and day. Better noise performance, better sharpness, and even better colors on the Go Ultra. Now we also get an HDR mode at up to 4K 30 frames per second, and as you can tell, side-by-side comparison of non-HDR and HDR footage, we get better colors and we get bigger dynamic range, as you can tell from this shot from a temple. All in all, I would say that if you are not planning on delivering the HDR video to YouTube or Instagram, I would still stick to the main SDR mode, but still the HDR capabilities are really nice. The Go Ultra has very similar focal length as the iPhone's 13mm camera or 0.5x camera, and now let's compare it with the iPhone's 0.5x camera in video mode, both in 4K, and as you can tell, guys, we get better image quality from the Go Ultra because it has bigger sensor. Actually, the sensor size of the Go Ultra is exactly the same as in the 1x camera of your iPhone, like the 17 Pro Max, for example, and that is why you get better low light performance and all in all better details, no matter that the iPhone is implementing some magic of AI. The Go Ultra also has an open gate mode or 4:3 video recording. It means that you have more information on top and bottom of the image, and you can reframe the image if you post for horizontal content, or you can make a vertical content for socials from the same video, which is super handy. We also get a special night mode, which is called pure video mode, and it has better low light performance, as you can tell from those two shots side by side. The video looks better, especially on smaller screens like the iPhone screen, but still, guys, there is a lot of post-processing, noise reduction and sharpening, so on bigger screens it might not look as good. We also get a special 2x crop mode, and let's compare the 2x crop in post with the 2x crop in camera. And as you can tell, guys, with the 2x crop in camera we get much more detail and better noise performance as well. So if you want to get not as wide field of view, just do the 2x crop in camera and you'll get much better results. Nice touch. And the image is still 4K, by the way. We also get 120 frames per second with a resolution of 2.7K, but in my opinion, I'd better shoot in 4K 60 and just slow it down in post with some neural networks, let me say. One of my favorite features is the time-lapse recording mode. You simply choose the length of the video and the amount of frames that the camera will take in this mode, and then you simply wait and chill, and then you get a video in 4K and it's already sped up. And here are all the modes of this camera, and you have little annotations beneath each mode so you can better understand what this mode does, and we have a lot of those to choose from and they're pretty intuitive to use as well. You can also choose the different amount of de-warping of the image. You can get the action mode with almost a fisheye look, but I do prefer the linear mode because we have the most straight lines in this mode. And also you have a 45 and 360 degrees mode. It means that the image will be slightly cropped in, but no matter how you turn the camera, the horizon will be always leveled. And yes, guys, this camera even does take pictures, but I didn't even test those. They're at 50 megapixels, but I think that the iPhone is more versatile photo camera and this one is a great video or action camera. We did see the difference in image quality between the Go Ultra and the Go 2, but what about the size difference? When you have both cameras in the action pods, the size difference is not that huge. Yes, the weight of the Go Ultra is slightly bigger, but still you don't even feel both cameras in your backpack. And when we remove both cameras from the action pods, the Go 2 has more of a pill shape, whereas the Go Ultra has more of a square shape. But still I'm able to put those cameras in really tight situations, and both cameras actually fit in the glass of water. So it's pretty nice, and I would say it's a tie here. But what about the ease of use? With the Go 2, I constantly had to connect it to the app and use my iPhone as a reference monitor, or I can simply also shoot blindly, but it's a no-go, let me say. Whereas with the Go Ultra, you have this action pod, the beautiful bright screen, and you can actually remove the camera and you'll have a minimum lag with this camera. So here is the screen, here is the camera, and as you can see, when I rotate the camera, the lag is minimal. It is existent, but it doesn't let you down, let me say. And it's super handy, so you can put the action pod somewhere, you can put the camera right onto your chest, and you can see what you're actually shooting, and it's so much better than using the Go 2 and the app. And what's even more impressive with the Go Ultra is the stability of the signal and the resolution that you get on this little screen, because it looks pretty much sharp. it actually is reliable and it actually is viewable even under the harsh sunlight. And by the way guys, the Go Ultra has even wider field of view compared to the previous generations, not only the Go 2 but also the Go 3 and Go 3S. So if you want to do something like action sports, this one is a better choice. And one more huge advantage of this camera is the support of the Apple Find My. So basically it's an AirTag built into the camera, and if you put it somewhere on a car, for example, magnetically, yes, it is magnetic, and the car just leaves the place, you can find the camera later on as an AirTag on your app, basically on the iPhone. Pretty cool. And now guys, let's listen to the audio quality of this tiny little microphone. And by the way, I was really impressed by the wind suspension of this microphone. It does really well even in the windiest conditions, and I'm actually surprised. Even though you talk like this or you talk like this with the camera on your chest, the audio quality is pretty nice. And after that, we'll compare it with the Mic Air audio quality as well. And right now guys, you can hear the built-in microphone of the Go Ultra, and as you can tell, it is pretty noisy outside here in Rome, and this is what you get with the built-in microphone. But also you get the Bluetooth wireless microphone from Insta360, which is actually more comfortable to use because you don't have to hold the camera as close as possible to get the best audio quality. But all in all, in my opinion, the audio sounds pretty good from the built-in microphone as well, especially in those super noisy city environments, as you can tell. And also guys, here is, I'm talking straight to the microphone, but let me turn the camera and you'll hear the audio quality when the microphone is turned to the other direction. So here it is, 1, 2, 3, mic check, 1, 2, 3, mic check. How do you like the audio quality? This is the audio quality you get with the Mic Air put onto my chest. 1, 2, 3, mic check. And right now you hear the built-in microphone, 1, 2, 3, mic check. And right now guys, as you can tell, I have it on my chest with a special pendulum, and as you can tell guys, here is the audio quality when you're doing like POV vlogging style. So I can see myself with this little pod, and I can see the framing as well. It's slightly tilted upwards, and this is the audio quality you get on your chest with the pendulum. Now let me turn towards the wind, and now the wind is straight to the microphone. 1, 2, 3, mic check. I don't think that it'll be super nice, and that is why I would highly recommend you use the Bluetooth microphone with the wind protector on it. How did you like the audio quality, guys? In my opinion, it sounds really decent, especially with the Mic Air. And also guys, in this tiny little camera right here, you can see the SD card slot. And with the 512 GB SD card, I was able to record at 4K 50 frames per second in high bitrate settings at up to 16 hours of footage. And if you run out of space, you can always swap the SD card, which is so handy. Now let's talk about the accessories for the Insta360. Most of those you have to buy separately, but in the kit you'll find a pretty cool necklace which has a rotatable mechanism, so you can point the camera upwards or downwards, and it's so much better than the previous generation of the same necklace for the Go 2 camera. As you can tell guys, we have very similar mounting points as an all-action camera, so you can get different like adapters, etc. Also you can purchase this pretty cool Bluetooth remote ring, which is so handy, and it charges with this little dock station with a USB Type-C. Here we have a little strap with a quick release mechanism, and also Insta360 as well as Freewell company produce a ton of different filters. And as you see guys, the front protective glass simply unscrews and you can install different filters like the NDs, the CPL filters, the UV filters, or even the glow mist filter. And here is how the CPL filter works on the Go Ultra. Here is the Easy Clip handband, and it's made out of really nice and stretchy material. It fits your head perfectly, and if you're okay with looking a bit weird on public, it's a very nice accessory for cool POV shots. You can also get those plastic attachments with a sticky back, and one of my favorite accessories is this little mini tripod with the retractable handle, and it's so easy to use it when you're traveling. So for example, I was doing all of my time lapses with this thing, and it's super compact and lightweight as well, and you can also attach a Bluetooth remote button to it. And what's cool about it is that you can attach the camera itself as well as the action pod to this mount. And finally we get this pivot mechanism with the sticky rubbery thing beneath. Of course, the Insta360 Go Ultra supports the mobile app, which is Insta360 basically, and this app is crazy good. It's really reliable, you can monitor what you're filming, you can change different settings, you can download the footage from the camera itself, and it's working pretty fast and convenient to upload to socials, for example. It also has some AI automatic edits and features, and a ton of cool stuff inside of it. But we also have an Insta360 Studio app for the desktop, and in this app you can watch the footage, you can cut it, you can apply the motion ND functionality, make a speed ramp, or even color grade the footage with some AI tools or the regular color grading tools. You can also adjust the horizon in this app and export the file in Dolby Vision HDR or in ProRes or in H.265, whatever codec you want to. Super nice app to have on your desktop as well. And by the way guys, if you want to get the best image quality, I suggest using the Insta360 Studio app on your desktop and export in ProRes 422. This way you'll get slightly better footage than from the SD card itself. And what are the use cases for such action, or let me say lifestyle cameras? Of course, the best use case, at least in my opinion, is the backstage camera. As you can tell, on our wedding workshop in Europe, I was using this camera as my backstage camera and the footage turned out to be really good. I also really enjoyed this camera as a travel camera. As you heard, the microphones sound pretty good, especially if you're using the Mic Air. And by the way, the Mic Air can be used with your iPhone, and with the Insta360 Go Ultra it uses Bluetooth to connect to it. The connection is seamless, it's really intuitive, and you'll see the indicators, the audio levels on the screen of the camera itself when you use the Mic Air. Plus it has the wind protection, so all in all the Mic Air is a great accessory for your Insta360 Go Ultra camera. And guys, the Go cameras are always great for such weird shots as I'm showing you right now, which I actually shot with the Go 2 because I was a bit lazy to shoot some new stuff with the Go Ultra. But as you can tell, you can put it in really different places. You can even swim with this camera, but only with the little camera itself, because the action pod is not weatherproof because we have an exposed USB Type-C port. But all in all, with those tiny cameras, the possibilities are literally endless. And why do I think that the Go Ultra is more interesting than a standalone action camera like the DJI Action Osmo, whatever it's called, or the DJI Pocket 3, for example, with the stabilizer, a gimbal included into the camera? Because this one is much more versatile. Of course, the image quality will be slightly worse because the Pocket 3 has a 1-inch sensor, which is much bigger than this one. But still guys, the image quality is more or less comparable with those two, and let me say that this one is much more versatile because you can remove this one, you can monitor footage right here. It's a magnetic camera, as you can tell. One, here is two, both sides are magnetic basically. And it's so versatile and the possibilities are literally endless with this system. And I think that I would rather prefer having one camera like this than a separate action camera for the action stuff and a separate vlogging camera like the Pocket 3 just for the vlogging. This one ticks all the boxes, at least to me. Previously, the battery life on the Go cameras was so-so, let me say, but on the Go Ultra it's a different story. For example, I was using this camera for the entire day in Rome, and I had like 3 or 4 time lapses for about 10 minutes with this camera, and I had some juice left in the end of the day. Of course, I wasn't shooting like crazy, one shot here, one shot there, but still it was able to provide me with a full day of battery life. So in total, the camera itself will last you for 60 minutes without the action pod in 4K 30, and up to 170 minutes in 4K 30 with the action pod. It also has a fast charging from 0 to 80% in 12 minutes. So for example, you go for lunch, plug it in for 12 to 15 minutes, and you're ready to rock this camera for the entirety of your day. So guys, to conclude, if you have the Go 2 or the Go 3 or even the Go 3S, I think that the Go Ultra is worth upgrading, especially from the Go 2, because it ticks all the boxes. It's super versatile, very convenient, great battery life, great image quality. All in all, I really enjoy this camera. And also, if you're on the fence between picking like a DJI Pocket 3 or a proper action camera, just think twice. Because if you only need a vlogging camera, okay, maybe the DJI would be a better pick. But if you want to combine different angles, if you want to combine the action stuff with the vlogging stuff, with weird placement of the camera, I think that the Go Ultra is the best choice on the market right now. It's just one of a kind, let me say. And the price is right here, guys. It's not cheap by any means, but if you compare it with 2 different cameras like the Pocket 3 or the proper action cameras, the top ones, the top tier cameras, it is really relatively adequately, let me say, priced. So all in all, I do recommend purchasing this camera if you're into action filmmaking or lifestyle filmmaking. Really enjoyed it. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notifications bell. And right here I have a review of the Go 2, and it's a super nice review as well. I really like it. So I'll see you in that video, guys. Take care.